not being available yesterday. I was at Union Bank for a training. Yesterday, I went to train them on. We're doing a training with them presently. It's, they're bankers and training, so I was part of the facilitators that went to deliver training day yesterday. So because of traffic, we closed late, and because of traffic, I knew that there was going to be traffic because it was Friday, and I didn't want to keep us waiting. That's why we canceled class yesterday. So we apologize. That class, that time would be redeemed for us. I will do that class as we proceed. So I apologize. All right. Last class, we went through a whole lot last class, even though they were short, but we went through a whole lot, right? We looked at revision on altering the table and doing multiple transactions with one single alter table statement, right? So we're able to drop, rename multiple columns, drop multiple columns, modify multiple columns, and even add multiple columns, right? We did that. Then we also looked at indexes, right? We said that indexes are database objects that improve query performance, right? And we dived into index a whole lot last class, right? We said indexes are created implicitly when you create either a primary key or constraint or a unique key constraint, right? And we looked at how to create single index and composite index. And of course, we also looked at how to show indexes, right? You want to know the index or the index and the columns that are indexed on your table, right? We showed last class how to do that, right? We also moved on to working with data manipulation, right? And we had a great using data manipulation, right? Where we talked about the insert, the update, and the delete statement. And we said the data manipulation languages are used to manipulate the content of a table. Basically, the content of the table basically is the data, right? It's the data. So we use them to manipulate data in a table, right? Let me put this in brackets, data. So we use them to manipulate data, right? Data or records in a table, right? Whichever one you want to use, right? And we looked at how to query a table, right? By using the select statement, even though we've not got into select, but for the sake of seeing what we have in the tables, right? We learned how to use the select statement, the first or a brief select statement, right? So we talked about the insert statement, and we said we use the insert to clause to insert into a table. So insert into is the clause, right? The department here is the table that we're inserting values to, and of course, these are the values that we're inserting, right? And we looked at how to do that a couple of times. Right? We also looked at how to, so we looked at the effect, we saw the effect of not having a primary key on the table last class. We saw the effect when the values of department 20 were duplicated on the tables. And we looked at how to solve those kind of issues, right? You drop both columns and you create them, right? We also looked at how to update a table, right? We said what? To update a table, right? You use the update clause, and we use what? The set clause to what? To change the data. So of course, for you to update an object, right? The data in a table, the data must already exist, right? So for you to update, the data must already exist, right? So you can change department ID to 60. Yeah, we're changing department ID to 60, where the department name equals IT. And I said last class that if you omit the where clause, what happens? Every department ID in that table will be updated to 60, which means that all your department IDs are going to be 60. And of course, that will cause a big error. Recovering from those kind of errors right now depends on the database you're using. You can easily roll back the transaction, which we'll talk about later. You can easily roll back that transaction, or you have to call the attention of the database administrator to fixing that transaction, right? So you want to make sure that whenever you want to use the where clause, the update statement, there is a where clause in place. This is very important, right? The where clause is very important. In the update statement. The where clause is very important in the update statement. So be careful of the where clause, right? Then we also talked about deleting a row from a table, right? We're talking about deleting a row from a table. And we looked at also that when you're deleting a row from a table, you must use the where clause, else the whole content of the table will be deleted, right? The whole content of the table will be deleted, right? So you have to also be careful in delete statements, right? Because they are important. And the where clause helps you restrict your action to a particular observation of a particular row, right? So we saw several other examples, and we also looked at how to insert multiple values into the database using one insert statement, right? We looked at how to insert multiple values, right? In using one insert statement. And right, people like Madam Anu would really love this because she does not want to write plenty codes, right? We also looked at how to drop a table and all of that. So basically, if you have questions, let me ask me now as we are moving to what we call the data query language today.
Well done, sir.
Thank you, ma.
Yes, sir.
You
I
came
have
late.
yes. I'm sorry. Even when I connected, I was not even really connected. And I just settled down now. Sorry, sir. I have a
Welcome.
question based on the populating our table.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
one I did, I couldn't run it. The one I sent to you, it was giving me error statements when I was adding multiple
Okay.
values at the same time. So I don't really get where the problem comes. I don't know where, if you have helped me to check my assignment and see where the problem comes from. I don't really know the exact problem I'm having though, but it's giving me
I'll
serious
check now.
errors. Sir? It's giving me serious errors. Sir?
I'll look at it and get back to you.
Okay, and also concerning the indexes, I didn't really get that part. The reason was that last week I dozed off from
Yeah.
question time. So I didn't get that part. So can you please help me go over that index? What is it for? Why do we, although I did it, I followed your footstep. I did the assignment, but I didn't get it.
Well, what you will need to do so that we don't drag the class back is to go and watch
Okay.
the videos.
Okay.
Please, right? If you watch the videos and you still have questions, then you can ask me so that we don't drag the class back. Right? I'm sure you can't see my face at the
Mr.
moment. Nepa
Ashun,
has done. Yes, talk to me, ma.
Mr.
Yes, I can hear you.
Mr. Ashun,
I can hear you, ma. I can hear you. Talk to me.
class video was not sent to the group.
It is on the group.
The link.
It's on the group. It's on the group now. Let me check again. It's on the group. On the group. Check again. It's on the group. I'm trying to check. Yes, it's on the group already. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's on the group already. That's about 3 views already, sir. Right, so it's on the group already. Can you hear me, Alaja?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's on the group already.
I can hear you.
Yes. All right. Give me a minute. NEPA took like, sorry, I'm messing my recording up. Imagine international people watching the video and saying NEPA take light. So 1 minute, please. Apologies, I'm back. All right, so let's get to it. Today we want to talk about the data query language. We want to talk about data query language. And this language is very important because it is the language that data analysts use a whole lot, right? It is the language that you will use a whole lot. And basically what this language does, right, is to help us fetch data from the database, right? We use it to fetch data from the database. It's as simple as that. We use it to fetch data from the database, right? So today we're going to be talking about the almighty select statement, right? There's a whole lot that we're going to be talking about the select statement. It's a very important statement, and we'll be looking at it in full, right? So today we're talking about the select statement, right? The select statement basically is a query language. Right, that helps send query let us send query to the database and returns results, a result for the query sent, right? So basically what the select statement does is that it helps us connect to the database, right? It helps us connect to the database. When you connect to the database, you send a query to the database. When your query gets data also, right, what you get in turn is a result, right? That's basically what the select statement does, right? So we use the select statement to fetch data from the database. And the result of that is a query, right? We call it a query, right? So examples of you doing a query is when you go on your phone book, on your phone, and you type Mr. Sheung, right? And it gives you a list of people who you have saved as Mr. Sheung on your phone, right? That's a query, right? When you go on Google and you try to know what is the price of dollars to naira today in the black market, right? What you get is a list of results, right? What you sent is a query, what you get is that query result, right? So we invariably you interface with writing queries every day. When you go into your playlist or your music library and you search for a particular song by Song or by whatever artist or by whatever title you use to search for the song, right? What you're doing is that you are querying your music database and you are getting a result as a query. When you go on Netflix and you go and look for JW, that is John Wick 4, that is a query that you're sending, and what you get in return is a list of results from that query. So basically, right, that is what querying the database means, right? You send your statement asking a question, right, or trying to solve a business case, right? Your query can be you can write a select statement to solve a business case or send a business case, communicate a business case to the database, and you get a result for that business case, right? So we'll be looking at how to write the select statement. What is the syntax to writing the select statement? What are the things that the select statement can do, and how to navigate it. Now, this particular statement is what most data analysts use, right? It's very, very important because as a data analyst, all you will be doing with the database, even though we have learned how to create tables and indexes, constraints, and all of that, we've learned how to insert and do all of that, right? Majorly, the database that you're probably going to be working with is already created, right? And you probably have an engineering team that is monitoring, maintaining, cleaning, monitoring, wrangling, and preparing data for you as a database as a data analyst, right? So, but all you would need to do would probably be to write SQL statements to the database to be able to fetch data that would solve a particular business case for you, right? So these, if you have not learned, of course, I know that you have learned a whole lot in the past 3 weeks that we've been at it, right? But if you have not learned anything, please pay attention to the select statement because it is very important. It's very important, right? Now, according to Oracle, right? Now I'm deliberately quoting them, right? Because according to them, right, the SQL select statement can do 3 things. Right? The SQL select statement can do 3 things, and I'm going to name them like this. We have what we call projection. We have what we call selection. Or restriction. And we have what we call joining. Right? So the SQL select statement can do 3 things, right? With the SQL select statement, you can project on a table, you can do a selection or restriction on the query to be returned, and you can join multiple tables together, right? You can create the database, you can create 2 or more tables at the same time by joining them together to get results from them, right? So it is very important that we understand these 3 things, and we're going to pick them one after the other today, right? So today, right, in this class, right, we're going to be engaging the HR schema, the human resource schema, right? We're going to be engaging the HR schema. So let me activate my schema, right? So I'm activating HR. Of course, we're familiar with HR, but I want you to look at what you have inside the HR schema, right? The tables that we have there are about 7 tables. The countries table, we have the departments table, we have employees table, we have the job history table, we have the jobs table, we have the locations table, and we have the regions table. Of course, we have a view, and I said we're going to talk about what views are much later, but we'll talk about some of these tables that we're going to be using, right? So select statement, right? How do we write a select statement? How do we write a select statement, right? How do we write a select statement? How do we write a select statement, right? So the select statement is you use the select keyword, right? You use the select keyword. This is the syntax. Let me just put it this way. Syntax basically tells you the structure of what this query statement should look like, right? So we have select. We have select, column lists, right? Or an expression, right? Then you have the from, which the table you are selecting that from, and most likely you have a where clause, right? Which is a condition to be met. Right? So let me explain this, right? So when you're writing a select statement, right? The select statement basically, right, is your column list or expression. We'll talk about what that means later, right? Then we have from table underscore name, right? That is table are you fetching the data from? And of course, the where clause to words to restrict. So the result of your query would have to meet these conditions or the conditions and the where clause before they can be returned, right? So if you look at it, right, of course, if you have been following me, you know that we have when you're creating a table, right, we'll create a table out of a data point. I will call that an entity. I will said every entity must have an attribute, and these attributes is what translates to columns, right? So when you're trying to solve a business case, right, you have some attributes or some features or some columns, right, that answers that business case, right? You have some columns that answers that business case, right? Take, for example, let us write a simple business case. I hope you are following me. Please let me know if you are following me, right? Please let me know if you are following me.
I have a question.
Mr. Sean, please, I have a question.
I'm coming. What's the average salary? All right, so this is my business. Okay. Two people said they have a question. Let me go into the classroom to do that. Okay. Somebody said, Mama, you have a question?
I have a question, sir.
Okay. If you have a question, please just raise your hand so that I know who to call. Please just raise your hand if you have a question. If you have a question, please just raise your hand. Madam Ola, could you please ask your question? I know that I heard from Madam Ola and I heard from Madam Sandra. All right.
Okay, sir, please, for the purpose of revision, we don't have this HR schema.
Whoa, I sent it. It was one of the things that I sent to you when we started the training. Check the WhatsApp group. The HR schema is there. If you don't have it, just let me know. I'll send it to you now. Right? But
Okay,
it is on the WhatsApp.
I'm not sure I know how to bring in a data, sorry.
So the HR schema is a script, right? It's a script like this. Where is it? This is it, right? If you look at it, this is it. This is the HR schema, right? This is everything that you need to create it. So once you open it on your MySQL, right? Just run everything, right? It will create everything by itself. You just need to run it once, right? And you'll see everything, right? Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. This is what I'm going to do.
Sorry,
yes,
sir.
Talk to me.
When I open the HR schema, it doesn't open on this same network, or it opens on a different one that's unconnected.
So what you will do is copy it, right? It's because it's a script, right? It will not connect. So copy it and paste it on the one that on your network on your connected server. Right?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. What I would do is I would have to run the whole program again, right? I'm going to drop the schema, right? I'm going to drop my own schema and I'm going to show you how to work with this HR schema, right? I'm going to show you how to work with it. I'm going to show everybody how to work with it. So I'm going to drop the schema. Can you see? Right? I'm dropping the schema HR. All right. So if you look at it, the HR schema is gone here, right? It's gone here. I've told you that was drop. This drop is a what's it called now? It's a DDL statement. So it's auto committed, right? So if you have it and you want to drop it, you can easily drop it that way. Madam Susan, talk to me. I know you have a question.
It's the same question about the HR. I don't have
Okay.
it.
Yes. You might not have it. So I'm going to send it to you on Telegram now, right? You might not because you. All right. I'll send it to you on Telegram now. So please check your Telegram. You'll see the HR schema there. Where do I have it? All right. I've sent it to you, Madam Sandra. All right.
Mr. Sean, I did
Who
not
else
have
does
it
not have
too.
it?
Please, I did not have it too. Please send to me
Hey.
too.
Okay. Um, Alaja, please say hi to me on Telegram.
Okay, sir.
Who else does not have it? Right? Who else does not have it?
I don't have it, though. Good evening, sir.
Hey.
My
Good evening,
personal person.
Good evening, sir. I don't have it also. The
Sir,
one
I
I
don't
is
have
Jesus.
saying something about file not found.
You don't have it. You're saying file not found?
Yes, I downloaded the one on the group chats. But it's saying file not found on my phone because I downloaded it on my system with the WhatsApp on my system.
Mr. Sean, please send it to me as well. I can't seem to find it.
All right. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Alaja, you have it now. Madam Olakweju, you would get it now. Who else?
I don't have it, please. But if you send it to me on WhatsApp, I would, when I get to where my laptop is, I would download it. I will get it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, ma. I'll get it across to you. I want to believe everybody has this now, right? If you don't have it, please let me know.
So I don't have it.
Okay. All right. You should have it now. Who else does not have it? I want to believe every other person has this now. All right. Solomon, do you have it? Who else is there? Ebuka, I'm sure Ebuka has it.
I don't have it.
You don't, and you did not talk. See this man. What's your name on Telegram again now?
How are you now? How are you on what?
Yes.
How are you now?
All right.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you say we should do to be the same? We should drop it.
I'll show you. Just download it on your system, right? Download it on your system. Solomon, I'm waiting for your chat. Okay. Yeah. I know your name is a bit different on here. Right, we should have it now. All right, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to remove this. All right, so I think we should all be on the same page now. Right, so we should all be on the same page now. All right, so I don't have the HR schema as well. So I want you to look up, just look at what I'm doing. Right, so I'm going to come here. Can you see the SQL script? That's the first, sorry, the second icon after the first icon below the menu bar. You see the open a script and open a SQL script in a new query tab, right? So I click on that. When I click on that, I'm going to navigate to where my HR that HR script that I sent to you, HR schema script that I sent to you. I'm going to navigate to where it is. You click on it, then you click on open. So you would have something like this. Right? You have something like this. Please let me know if you are good.
Sorry, sir, can you take that again?
All right, I'll close that. Right, look up, just look up. Look at this part. You can easily come to open this script or come to your file and say open SQL script. Okay, everybody use the file, say open SQL script, right? Open SQL script. So you click on that. You can easily use the Control Shift open command, Control plus Shift plus O to do that, right? So when you do that, take for example, I think I have it in my download, right? Can you see I have it inside my download? So if you have, wherever you have it, and if you just downloaded it, it should be in your download. So or you check whatever location it is on your system, navigate to that place and open and click on that particular file, right? So here I'm selecting the HR file, right? Can you see it's a .sql file? Then I'm saying I click on open, then it is going to open as a new tab. Can you see it's going to open as a new tab? Right? So please let me know if it is opened on your system. Let me know. Let me know if it is open on your system.
It's open, sir.
Awesome. Right? I'm waiting for others to give me a confirmation that it's open. If it's open, just raise your hand. If it's open, just raise your hand. Auntie Moyo, talk to me. Madam Malakweji, talk to me. Okay, are these the people that's open on the system? Oh, awesome. All right. So let's wait for others. Who we have to move. Let's wait for others. We are over 1 hour already. So let's move. Ebube, Madam Angela, Madam Susan, Madam Odua, are you here? Awesome. I trust you. All right. Awesome. All right. Ebube, are you there? Madam Angela, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. My own is not opening. I'm trying to send it to WhatsApp so that I can get it from WhatsApp, but it's not opening from the Telegram.
Mine has opened.
Is it okay? Yours has opened. Okay. Is it a .SQL? If it's not a .SQL, or if it's not a .SQL, it will not open. Right. So make sure that
Yes,
it is
it's
in the
not .SQL.
It's not .SQL. Where did you get it from?
The one you sent to me.
It's the same thing I sent to everybody now. Madam Susan, are you good? Madam Anu?
Yes, sir. Sir? Hello, yes,
I'm sure you didn't know. I'm sure you don't know what we are doing at the moment.
Yes. I'm sorry.
So I'm trying to send from my phone to my system.
All right. Hey, who's that? Who is that? Please help me mute your mics. All right. So, if you, I don't want us to wait too long, right? So just follow us, right? If you have not opened it yet, just follow us. You can always do this later, right? So I have these codes, right? Of course, these codes are not generated by me, right? It's a popular schema, database schema that we use in the industry, right? So it's a very popular schema, right? So what we're trying to do here is to create. So first of all, the reason why you are dropping the schema here, drop schema, is you're dropping the schema if the schema exists. Maybe there's a schema called HR that existed before that is not that you do not want, right? So you drop the schema, and you're saying that drop schema if exists, right? That's what this statement actually means. Drop schema if exists HR, right? And then it works. It will now create creates the HR schema again and use this national language support, these settings. It's going to use the settings, right? You don't need to, if you look at it, when you are creating your schemas, we don't use collate and all that because your systems are set for this national language support, right? So basically, we're just going to run this statement. I'm going to run the statement by just clicking on any part of it and just run, right? I'm just going to click run, right? You would see that it will continue to run. Can you see it is running and opening, and it is done in less than 1 second, right? 0.062 second, right? Everything is done. Everything is done. It is done, right? Can you see? All the tables are created. You can see them here. All the tables are created. You can see them here. Right. So please let me know if you have that. And if you reload your HR, if you load your schema, you'll see HR now and you see all the tables there. Right. Please let me know if you have all of that.
Mr. Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sean.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. I've just copied my own now. So what is the first thing I'm going to What is the
You
first thing I'm
copied
going
it
to
out.
do?
You copied it out. You said you copied it. Why did you copy it?
I have done that. I've copied it.
I'm saying, you copied or you opened it?
Sir?
I said, did you copy it or you opened it?
I copied it
Why? Why
to
did you
my
copy it?
SQL.
Okay, to your okay, right? So you copy. So you probably have two connections, right?
I can't
You
hear
copy
you.
it from one of your connection to the other connection, Abby.
This network.
What do you say?
Sir?
Alaja, send me a chat on Telegram. Explain everything that is happening so I can give you. Alaja, send me a chat on Telegram so that I
Hello,
can
sir.
answer you. Yes, talk to me.
You said we should drop a schema HR,
Hello?
right?
Just run the statements. You don't need to drop. Just run it. Will run everything by itself. Just run
Okay,
everything.
I should run.
Just
No
click,
need of clicking on anything.
Just click. Look at it. Just click on any part of it and use the execute button. This button, just run it. It will run everything for you at once. Yes.
I can't see your screen.
Alaja, talk to me. Madam Uduak, talk to me.
I can't see the screen. I don't know what you are pressing there. I can't see the screen.
I'm sure that's your network. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
awesome.
I can.
Alaja, it's probably
Hello,
your
sir.
network. Yes, ma.
It says I'm trying to run my own. The 10 is telling me error code. I don't know what happened.
Snap your error, snap it and send to me.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Madam Uduak, your hand was up. Talk to me.
No, he asked we should indicate if we're able to run it. That's why I indicated.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Madam Anu, talk to me.
I have opened it, sir, but it's not highlighted. It's not giving me access to the room. Everywhere is locked.
No, everywhere. Okay. Who lock him?
I can't. It's not. It's not runnable. The way I'm supposed to run is not highlighted.
All right. Snap what you have and send it to me. All right.
It has run. No.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So if you are good now, just raise up your hand. Let me see. Let me know how many people are good, how many people are yet to get there. All right. If you're good now, let me know. Awesome. I have 2 people now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 people. If you are good, just raise up your hand. 7. We have 7 people who are awesome now. All right. 8 people, awesome. Madam Susan and Madam Anu, you are the ones I'm waiting for. Iceman can go and take his own listing from his bus driver. All right. All right. I think everybody is good now. All right. So you should have this schema, right? We should have this schema.
I should
so we're
take
going to
my
go back
Uber.
to our class
Mr.
from the
Ashim,
bus driver. From the
from
bus
the bus driver.
driver. Yeah.
All right, sir.
All right. All right. So business case, business case, business case. The same way you answer business case in Excel, the same way we answer them here. Right? You want to identify. Remember, I've told you that when you're answering your business case, you must be able to turn your business case to logic and see the most important part of the business case. Take, for example, this is a business case. It says, what is the average salary, not average age now. Average salary of all employees in the company, right? This is a business case, right? Right. This basically is just asking for a singular value based on what? Based on the salary column, right? They can have business cases like generate a full detail about the employee with the ID of 100, right? They're asking you in this situation, right? It's discovered that there are two different cases, right? This first case, right? This first case, right? You need to understand that this is an aggregate function, right? We'll talk about it much later, right? What you are looking for here is there are two major keywords here. The first one, average, is the operational word there, average. And on which column are you doing that, or on which data are you doing that? The salary column. Of course, from the employees words, the employees table, right? Those are the three major words in that business case, right? Those are the three major words in that business case, right? What is the average salary of all employees in the company? Average is the operational word, right? That is the analysis. The column that you'll be doing that on, and the employees table, the employees is the table that you're going to use to answer that question. Meanwhile, in the second statement, what you have is what is a more elaborate statement that says generate a full detail, generate full details, right? English here. Generate full details about the employee with the ID of 100, right? This is saying that we want to know everything about the employee, right? And if we want to know everything about the employee, it means that we're bringing out all the attributes available about that employee, right? I'll show you how to do all of these as we proceed, right? So let us start with a basic question, right? Let's start with the basic question. I've told you how to write an SQL statement, right? So we're going to be working with the first statement we're going to be working with is select our first business case now, right? Our first business case will be generate full details about. Okay, we'll talk about all of this later. Let me just copy this instead of cleaning it off, right? So generate full details about all the employees in the company, right? Remember, this is an HR schema, so it has to do with information about the employees, right? It has to do with information about the employees. If you look at the table, it's all about the staffs of the company. Which country are they? Which department are they? Who are these staffs themselves? Their job history, their job, their locations, and their regions, right? That's basically what we have in that data, right? In that schema. So how do we solve this first question, right? Generate full details about all the employees in the company, right? So we say select. Now, first of all, I've told you, right? In this situation, what are we looking for? The full details about all the employees. Full details about all the employees, right? So what does that mean? That translates to the fact that we want to know everything about the employees. Basically, what that translates is that we want to see everything on the employees table. The table that contains the detail about employees is the employees table, right? And to know the full details about the employees, it means that we're not leaving anything out. We want to know everything about them, right? Hence, right, we know from the schema that the table that contains information about the employees is the employees table, right? So we're going to first of all describe the employees table to see what we have there. I hope you are following me, right? To see what we have there, right? So we'll run that. And this is the employees table in its full glory, right? So how many columns do we have there? We have 11 columns on that table, right? The employee ID, the first name, the last name, the email address, the phone number, the hire date, the job ID, the salary, the commission percentage, the manager, and the department ID, right? And if you look at it, right, now you have a better understanding of what this table means, right? So you have the employee ID as an integer column, which is unsigned. We know what that means, and does not allow for what? For a null value. Hence, null is what? Is 0. Then it allows what? It has a primary key column on it. Can you see a constraint? Primary key is on it, right? Then we have the first name, which is the virtual column, right? This column allows for what? For null value, because you have yes on the null what? On the null section of that. So it means that it is not compulsory that the staff has a first name, right? Remember Koreans usually have last names. They live by their last name and not their, most times they don't have first name, or some of them don't have first names, right? So we're looking at a global environment, right? So that's why the first name there allows for null value, right? Then we have the last name, right? We have last name, which is what? It means that you must have a last name. Even if you don't have a first name, you must have a last name, right? Bachelor 25, and it is what? Does not contain or does not allow for null value. Email address also does not allow for null value email to Bachelor 25. So it means that you must have an email address. You must be able to communicate with you in a way, right? Phone number is virtual 2. The reason is virtual 20. And the reason why you have virtual there is because your phone number usually sometimes starts with a plus sign, right? The phone number starts with a plus sign, or it has an hyphen in between it. And so the reason why we use what we're using virtual in that situation, right? And it also contains what? It allows for null value, which means that it is not compulsory you have a phone number, but it is very essential and compulsory that you have an email address. I hope you are following me, right? So we have the hire date, which is a date column, and also does not allow for null value. You are hired in a particular day, so you must know the day you are hired, right? You can't just walk into the organization and not have a hire date. Job ID basically tells us what your job role is, right? It's also compulsory, and you can look at it. Can you see that it has multiple in front of it? This means multiple, which means that it's a foreign key. Remember that we said that what a foreign key is a column from a table that is referenced on another table. So it means that this ID column, this job ID column, right, is coming from another table, right? Which means that we have more details about the job ID, about the job on another table, right, that is referenced on this table. And of course, we have the salary column, which is decimal 8.8,2. 8 means that the highest length that the salary can be is 8 characters, right? Or 8 integers. 8 number, right? You can have a 8-digit salary. That's the word, right? You can have a 8-digit salary, right? 8 digits would put you at maybe about 100 million, right? Right. So you can earn about 8 digits of salary, and the decimal place is 2, right? Decimal, that's why you have comma 2, right? It's 2, right? It's also no in terms of no, which means that it must contain value. Then we have commission percentage, which is decimal, right? 22, right? 22 means that the commission can be, you can have a double-digit commission percentage, and you have 2 decimals after it, right? And it is null. What it means is that not everybody in the company earns a commission. And of course, we have the manager ID, which is also integer unsigned, right? It is not compulsory that you have a manager, right? And it is multiple, right? It is a foreign key, which means that the primary key relies somewhere. And we have the department ID, right? Which also tells us about more information about the department in which the person is, right? And it gives us more information about that. And of course, it is also a foreign key, which means that these ID columns that you see are actually primary keys column on another table. They belong to another table, hence they are primary keys on another table, right? So now that we have described the statement, the table, right? Let us now answer the business case, right? So it says generate the full details, right, about all the employees. So what do we do? I'm going to write the first, you can answer this in 2 ways, right? I'm going to generate the 2 ways to you, right? So select employee ID, first underscore name, last underscore name, email, phone underscore number. Right? Or do we have higher dates? Then we have job ID. We have salary. We have commission underscore PCT. We have manager underscore ID. And we have department underscore ID. Right? Then I save from where? From employees. Right? So let me explain what this means. So you are saying that now the select statement usually evaluates from the from clause first, and I will explain. Right? So what it means is that when you run a statement like this, instead of the server to start from the select statement, in evaluating the statement, it starts from the from clause, right? So the from clause is evaluated first, or is solved first, right? But we don't use the word solve. It's evaluated first before the select statement, right? So let me explain this to you in a simple analogy that you understand. So you ask your maid or your son or whoever is with you, your staff, whatever, right, to go into the kitchen, right? You say, I need okay, let's say you're in an office, right? I need a paper bag, I need a stapler, I need a sellotape, I need a computer, I need a pencil, I need a biro, I need a trackpad, I need a chair, I need a table, I need a rug, I need a, and you listed all of those things, and the person asks you, okay, so where do I get all of these things? Go into the store. We have all of these inside the store. That's basically what we wrote here. So basically what we have here is that you're saying that go into the employees table and select me all of these columns from that table. So I remember I think that what SQL is basically English language. Look at it. You are saying go into what? Go into the employees table and select all of these things from, so you're saying select all of these columns from the employees table. Are you following? Right? You have a son at home, or a daughter at home, or a maid at home, or your younger one, or whoever, your husband, your wife, and you are in the sitting room and you are feeling tired and you want to have a bottle of Coke, you want sandwich, you want pizza, and you want chicken, right? And you have all of these in the refrigerator. So you say, honey, you call the name of your son, whoever he is or whoever that is, and you say, please go into the refrigerator and get me this, and this, right? What does the person do? The person would not, first of all, the person has to, first of all, interact with the refrigerator before he can interact with the list of things that you have given him. Hence, the same thing that we have on the database. The query, right? Your writer, DB writer, the daemon, right? Involved in, when I say daemon, I'm not talking about demon, D-A-E-M-O-N, right? For them, the daemon, right? These are the background processes that does the activity for us, right? They are the background processes on your computer that you send on an errand to do these things, right? Awesome, right? So the daemon, right, first of all goes into what? Into the HR schema, right? But now we're in the HR schema because we've activated the HR schema, right? Now, if we were not in the HR schema, right, it would have to say, okay, where they ask me to do it is you have to say something like HR.employees, right? The reason why you're doing HR.employees, you are saying that this employees table belongs to what? To the HR schema, right? Employees table belongs to what?
I found this on the web.
You are saying that this employees table belongs to this HR schema, right? But that is not our, right? We are connected directly to the instance. I mean, to the what's it called? To the database, right? So to the schema. So we are fetching directly from the schema. So we're saying that go into the what refrigerator and bring out all of these things. So you're saying go this demon, go into the employee table and bring me the employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percentage, manager ID, and department ID. Right? When you run that, what happens? It will bring you everything. Remember that this is all the columns that exist in the table. So it's going to bring you everything. It's going to give you everything, right? You see this statement is called a projection. When you write a select list, right, we say that is called a projection, So projection basically is you returning one or more columns, right? Returning one or more columns with an SQL statement. Returning one or more columns in a select statement is called projection, right? So this is the projection, right? The select list here, right, is the projection. This is select list, not from the word clause, right? That select list is the projection. So you are doing a projection, right? When we say bring out one or more columns, basically what I'm doing is I'm projecting. So project results, project your result out. That's what you're saying, right? So that's projection, right? Another way to solve these whole statements, to solve that particular business case that we have earlier, right, is that if I want to return every column, then I don't need to list them out. Right? If I want to solve that situation or that particular business case, and I want to return every column that is in a table, I don't need to list all of them out. Are you following me? I don't need to list them out, right? Since I'm returning every column, right? We use select all. This asterisk means all. I've showed us this about 2 classes ago. This asterisk means what? It means all. So you're saying select all from the employees table. Right? These two statements mean the same thing. These two statements, they mean the same thing because these asterisks means all. So I can easily say select all from the countries table. Select all from regions. Right? Select all from regions, right? And so on and so forth, right? This basically, right, this statement will return everything on that table. The total number of rows and the total number of columns, right? Look at this here. It says that what 107 rows were to return. That is that table, the employees table contains 107 rows. Please let me know if you understood all that I've explained before we move on. Please let me know if you're following me. Awesome. If you are following me, just raise up your hand, please. If you're following me, just raise up your hand. If you have questions, please let me know. If you are following me, please let me know. Madam Oduak, are you following me? Madam Susan, Madam Angela, Moyo, Iceman, Codeman.
I am following, sir.
Awesome.
I am following.
All right. So that is your select statement, right? So this is the simplest select statement that you can write, right? This is the simplest select statement that you can write. Are you following? Right? So we say select all from employees. We've done that. Select all from countries. Let's see what we have there. Can you see? This is the countries table. Can you see how many rows do we have there? We have 25 individual countries registered, right? In 5 individual countries, right? That's select all from what? From the countries table. Let us check regions, right? How many regions do we have? We have just 4 regions. Can you see 4 regions? 4 rows returned. 4 regions: Europe, America, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. MEA, right? Middle East and Africa. So we have just 4 regions, right, on the database, right? If you check on locations, right, you say select all from locations, right? Select all from locations, right? Also, these are all the location information, right? The ID, the street, the postal code, the city, the province, and the country ID, right? So and so on and so forth. You can continue to query as much tables as possible using the select all, right? The select all, remember, the select asterisk, which is all, will return all the rows and all the columns, right? The select all will return all the rows and all the columns. All right. It does all the rows and columns in a table. Are you following me? Right? Now, let us introduce what we call the where clause. The where clause. Right? What does the where clause do? The where clause is used to restrict rows returned by a query. It's used to restrict rows returned by a query. In this situation, right, we returned all the tables, right? We returned all the data, the rows in the table. But what if I just want to see for a particular row, right? So we say, do you necessarily have to see everybody in Nigeria, right, for you to be able to get Madam Olakweju? No, right? We don't have to bring everybody in Nigeria together before we can see Madam Olakweju, right? Of course, if you want to see everybody in Nigeria, we say select all from Nigeria. But if we want to see Madam Olakweju alone, or Madam Angela, right, or Madam Uduak alone, right, what do we say? We say select all from this table. Where? Now remember, the select all does not have anything to do with the rows returned. It only has something to do, the select all, I mean the select asterisk now, does not have anything to do with the rows returned. It only has something to do with the columns returned. When you say select all, it only returns, it returns all the rows. It does not have anything to do with the columns. But it returns every row, all the columns, sorry. It returns all the columns, but does not have anything to do with the rows, right? But because we do not use the where clause, that's why all the rows are returned. Are you following me? Please let me know if you understood that statement, right? Let me know if you understood that statement. I'll say that again, right? The select all, right? The select all statement that we ran here, right, does not have anything to do. Remember that this is the result. The select all here does not have anything to do with the number of rows returned, like all these rows. It does not have anything to do with it. What it really has something to do with is the number of columns returned. Are you following me? What it has something to do with is what? Is the number of columns returned. So the select, right, only deals with the column list. The from deals with the table in which the data is coming from. And the where clause deals with the number of rows that is returned. Simple. Right? So the where clause is used to restrict what? Rows returned by a query. Right? So let us answer there's a business case that we ran that we wanted to look at earlier. All right, good. So, right, let me copy this business case now. Right, it now has use. We now have use for it. Right, so I'm going to drop this business case here now. Right, it says generates the full details about the employee with the ID of 100. Right, so basically, what do? We go back to the what? To describing the employees table. Right, because we're talking about employees now. Right, we'll go back to the employees table to describe it to see what we have there. Of course, as you work with the table, you become more familiar with it, so that you don't have to describe it all the time. I'm describing it for your sake, right? I don't need it to be described anymore because I know what is inside. Now, so let us break down this statement and generate a full details, right, about the employee with the ID of 100. So the question is, do we have an employee with what? With ID? Do we have a column that answers this business case, that answers this part of the business case? Employee with ID. Employee with ID, that's employee ID. Employee with ID, that's employee ID of 100. So the first question is, do we have a column that answers this part of the statement on the table? Of course, the table also is what? Is the employees table. Of course, we do, right? The employee ID column answers that, right? So what does that mean? Right? So what we do is to say that, and look at it, it says generate full details. Full details basically will mean everything that we know about the person, right? Hence, we're going to say select all. Select all. From where? From which table are these columns coming from? Right? From employees. Now, it says what? That generate the full details about the employee with the ID of 100. So it's saying that not all the employees should be returned. Only the employee with the ID of 100. So we're going to now restrict that statement or restrict the result of this particular query by saying where employee ID. How is the employee ID written? Employee underscore ID. So we're going to say where employee underscore ID is equals to. Now remember that our logical operators also comes into play here. Right? The logical operators meaning that the greater than sign, the less than sign, the greater than or equals to, the less than or equals to, the equals to, and the not equals to. Right? So in this situation, right, we use logical operators. Right? You have less than, you have greater than, you have less than or equals to, you have greater than or equals to, we have equals to, and we have not equals to. This is not equals to, right? This is also not equals to, right? These two are not equals to, right? Not equals to. And in some literatures, right, or in some DBMS, this is also not equals to. These three, I hope you're putting it down. These three means not equals to, right? That three, right? This is very common in Excel. This is common in Excel. We also use it here, right? Well, the most important one or the major one that we use here is the exclamation equals to. That's not equals to. Then you'll find the indent underscore as also not equals to, right? So let me finish this statement that I'm writing. So we're saying that what is the statement again? Say generate the full details about the employee with the ID of 100. So we're very particular. We're very particular about that word ID. So we're saying that where ID equals what? Where ID equals 100, right? We terminate that statement and we run it. Right? Can you see? So what do you see? You see that all the columns came out, but it's only for what? For the employee with the what? With the employee ID of what? Of 100. All the details, all the columns on the employee table were returned, but only for what? Only for the employee ID of 100. So brief classwork, right? I want to give you a classwork, right? Generate a report, right? Does not take you 2 minutes to fix this. Everybody now. Generate a report Generate a report of an employee with the ID of 205, right? Just give us 2 and 101. Can we quickly do that? Everybody, can we quickly do that? If you are done, just raise up your hands. We are done already. 2 people are done already. Madam.
I didn't get that.
Ma?
Because I can't see the screen. I didn't get
You
what you
can't see
asked
the
us to
screen,
do.
You can't see the screen?
I can see it now.
Okay. So how many people are done? How many people are done? If you are done, please, during the week, we're going to send a review form, a feedback form on the group. Please help us fill the feedback form so that we can get feedback from you on what to improve on and how to improve better as we move gradually to the end of the first part of the training to the second part of the training. So please do help us fill the review form, right? You'll be rating the faculty, you'll be rating the training, you'll be rating the content, you'll be rating everything about the training, right? The review form will be dropped on the group during the week. So please we'll probably just take 5 minutes of the time. Just help us fill this so that we can improve on the delivery and use that information to serve them. Thank you. So if you are done, please just raise your hands. Raise your hands if you are done. If you are done, raise your hand. If you have questions, just ask me now, right? So if you are done, just raise your hand. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
So I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Is it possible to use? You said we should generate for 205 and 101. So I ran them separately. Is it possible to do it together?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, sir.
I'm so sorry. Right, we're waiting for others. We're waiting for others. Who and who has not gotten it? Right? Only 4 people have raised their hands up. 5 now. Please just leave your hands up if you've gotten it. 6 now. I'm waiting for others. Right? I'm just using this class today to just introduce us to it, right? Next class, it's going to be, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit more, right? I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit more. So I'm waiting for others, right? Awesome. Let's continue. Right, let's continue. So,
Mr. Sean, my own is
yes,
giving me
ma'am.
error.
What is
It's
the error
giving
that
me
is
error.
giving you? What error is it giving
Right.
you? What error is it
I was
giving you?
unable. It's not just run. Giving me
Snap it
error
and send to me
code
on Telegram.
1. Okay, sir.
All right, so let's solve this first one,
Sir.
right? It says select.
No, I'm just joining the class. I don't have the HR data on my system here.
Go and sit down somewhere. Time to log.
Time
Reach
to
out
log.
to me later. Reach out.
All right.
Reach out to me. Reach out to me later.
All right, sir.
Just getting. Right. So select all from what? From employees. I see my chat me up on Telegram so that I can push it to you. Right. Select all from employees where employee underscore ID is equals to what? 205. It's as simple as that. That's the first one, right? The second one is the same. Copy. The codes are reusable. I've told you that before. Where employee ID equals 101. So if I run this now, can you see? So employee ID 205 is Shelly Ingis. Email address is Shingis. That's the phone number. The ID is for 1994-0607. The job ID is account manager. The salary is 12,000. Does not receive commission percentage. Has a manager ID that is 101. And the department belongs to the department 110. Right? Let's look at the next person. The next person is 101. Who is that? Right? So employee 101 is Nina Kocha. Right? Whose email address is Nkocha. And email address is that, phone number is that. Hired on 1989-09-21, is an admin vice president and received 17,000. Has a manager ID of 100 and is in department 90. Can you see? Right? That is how to query. So when they are looking for you, when Nigeria is looking for you, all they just need to do is just what? Say, select all from what? Select all from the citizens database, right? Select all from the citizens database where what's it called now? Where NIN equals social number, right? Now, to solve the question that somebody asked me some minutes ago, that can we run the two of them together, right? I want to answer that question, right? To run the two of them together, I would say select all from employees where employee underscore ID in 205,101. If you run this, you get the result of the two of them. Please give me 2 minutes. Somebody is at the door. Please just give me 2 minutes. Let me.
Sorry, am I the only one that can't hear anything?
He said she's coming. He went to answer his door.
Malaria.
Thank you.
And straight to the point. Short and straight to the point. Malaria. The next thing I want to change are the headers. You want to make your headers simple. You want to make your headers easy for people to understand when they see them, and even for you to even understand when you work with it later in the future or something. Okay? So I want to, once I've typed in malaria in my table name, I'll hit enter. So that changes the name for me. Type it in, hit enter, changes the name to malaria. Alright? Now I want to change entity. Instead of having entity, I want country.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm back. So sorry. So sorry. Right. Thank you, Madam Olapoji, for having me entertain the class. All right. So if you look at it, what we did here is that in the first instance, we answered the questions one after the other, right? But in this situation, right, what we used is the in operator, right? We use the in operator, right? We use the in operator. And what the in operator does is that it helps us what? It helps us combine, allows us to specify multiple values in the word clause. And that's basically what it does. It allows us what? Supply multiple values in the word clause, right? It allows us to specify multiple values in the word clause. So basically, what this is going to do is that it's going to do some sort of an iteration, right? It's not, remember that these values are indexed because they have a primary key on them. Are you following me? Right? These values are indexed. So which means that it does not have to go through the whole table, right? It first of all goes to what? It goes to what? 205, because 205 is distinct. It goes to 205 and it goes to what? 101. So it doesn't have to go through the whole table. If you look at the results, look at the result of the statement, you see that it almost did not spend any minute or any second to execute it, because immediately, and that's the essence of indexing. Indexing made that particular query fast. If there was no index on the table, right, it would have taken maybe 1 second or 2 seconds for it to execute, because he has to go through each of them one after the other. But because there's an index on the table, and it knows that it's just returning 2 out of the 107 observations or rows in the table, right? It goes directly to the place, right? It goes directly to each of those values, right? It's so that it's like I'm like in this class now, I don't have to go through the names of everybody, because I know everybody by name. I can easily say Madam Udwak, right, and Iceman, right, because that is an index on each person, right? Your names are indexed. But imagine that we have two Madam Peju or 3 Madam Peju in class. Then I have to now begin to qualify each of these Madam Pejus, right? But because the names are indexed, right? No 2 person in this class bears the same name, right? It makes it very easy. So if I call Madam Udwak, she knows that she's the one I'm talking to, right? If I call Solomon, he knows the one I'm talking to, right? So that's the same thing that happens to this SQL statement. Please let me know if you understood what I just explained before we move on. Raise your hand if you understand, right? So that we can move on fast. Raise your hand if you are with me. Raise your hand, please. Viola, are you there? Alaja, are you there? Aisma, Madam Angela, Madam Susan,
I'm
Madam
there,
Udwa.
sir, so I was unable to hear you clearly.
Hey, your network is messing you up this night, too.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Don't worry, you should just have to spend time watching the videos. so that you can be up to date. Madam Angela and Madam Susan, I've not gotten your full reply today. Awesome.
I'm there.
All right. All right. That makes sense. Right? So we have, so let us use some other. So basically, right, what we did here, right, these that we did here using the where clause is called what? It's called selection. Or what? Restriction. Remember, I said that what? The SQL select statement the SQL select statement can do three things. Can you remember? Who can remember what are the things that I said the SQL select statement can do? Who can tell?
Projection, selection, and joining.
Yes, the SQL select statement can do three things: the projection, selection or restriction, and what? And joining. So you've seen what projection and selection means, right? So let us look at the business case, right? Let's combine one or more things together now. Let's say generate the first name, last name, email, and email generates the employee ID. So let's start with the employee ID. Generates the employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, and salary of employees of all employees. Are you following? Right? It says select what? Select the first name, last name. Select the employee ID, first name, last name. Generate the employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, and salary of all employees in the company. Right? So how do we solve this? Who can try? And then, you don't need to try it on your system. Just tell me what the statement I should write should look like. Give me a structure to what I should write. Anybody?
The lesson.
I didn't get that.
I said, I have a question.
You have a question?
Select email ID.
Hold on. Everybody hold on. Madam Angela, I say you have a question.
Yes, like this employee,
Okay.
the question you ask here, can you use this? Can you write this employee ID first name without underscore in this particular HR statement?
No, it has to be the same way it is on the column.
Okay.
This is a business case. This is like a report that you're asked to generate, right? You are the one to now transfer this to what it is on the table itself.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Thank
So
you,
who wants to try? Who wants to try? Who wants to try? Nobody wants to try.
South try.
All right. Continue.
Email.
Oh, yeah, now.
Email.
Okay. Okay.
Phone number.
Okay.
Salary. From employees.
Mm-hmm. Is that all? Is that all?
I think there's something else that should be there.
Like what?
Okay, no, it's all.
All right, that's all. Awesome. Well
Yeah,
done.
that's all.
Well done. Right? So if you look at it, what we now returned is just what? How many columns now? We returned just what? 6 columns of 11 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This is what we call projection, right? What we did there is also called projection. Remember I said projection is returning one or more columns from a table, right? This is projection, right? But we did not do selection, right? Or we did a total selection because we returned all the rows, right? We returned all the rows in the table, right? We returned all the rows in the table. Are you following me? Right? So if this business case is now asked this way, right? Generate of all employees in the IT department. Right? Generates all of these for employees in what? In the IT department. Right? So what do? Right? We copy this statement, paste it, right? Still the same, but this time around, we now do a selection, right? Or a restriction where department, thank you. Right? I like this question. Right? So, right, we want to say, all right. So to answer this question now, right, let me comment all of this. First of all, who can try this question? Who can try? Who can try? Something is missing somewhere in this question. I want everybody to think about it very well, right? I'm going to call your name because I know that people are not going to talk. So I'm going to call you. Don't let me see you leave class. So if you leave class, you owe me. All right. You just raise your hand, put your hands down. Put your hands down. Are these the people that knows what to do?
Sir, can we be seeing the question?
What do you say?
Can we look at the question? Like, can we see the question?
You will look at it, don't worry. Okay. Right. So we say the generates the employee ID, first name, last name, email ID, phone number, salary of all employees in the IT department. That's the question. That is the question. Waiting, I'm waiting.
Try. Let me try.
Huh? Hello, who's talking?
I said, let me try.
Please go ahead.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Select employee ID. First name. Last name. Email. Phone number. Salary. From IT statement. IT department. Employee from IT employee.
Developer, Jesus.
English, yeah.
I like that, right? You are
So,
somehow close, right? But
yes, we are trying. We
yeah,
have to add the IT. We have to specify IT there. That's what
so
I'm trying to.
where in your clause do you specify that? Is it in the from clause or in the where clause?
In the where?
Is it in the from clause or in the where clause? Where would you
So, sir,
specify
let
the
me
IT?
try.
Okay.
Okay, let them
Select all from employee ID.
No, hold on. We have a list of columns to return. So we cannot use select all because we have a list of columns to return.
Can I try, sir? Can I try?
Okay.
So who is that? Madam Udwak.
So we are.
All right.
Can I try, sir?
Please go ahead. Oh, who is that? Is that Madam? Okay, Madam Sandra. Susan, sorry.
Select employee ID,
Okay.
first name, last name, email, phone number, salary from employees table, where department equals IT.
Where department equals IT. Good, right? That would have worked, right? You are very close, right? You are very close. That would have worked, but something is missing.
Can I try?
Please go ahead.
Select employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, salary from employees. Where department underscore name includes IT.
Good, right? Where department underscore name, right? But the question is, you are returning that statement from the employees table, but there is no department underscore name on the employees table. So what do you do? Two people are very close. Two people are very close now.
May I give a suggestion?
Please go ahead. Go ahead, ma. Okay,
I think we could say select ID, last name, email, phone number, salary from employees. I think in IT department.
In would not work, right? The reason I would explain why in would not work. We are very specific about the department where we want to return the data from, right? It's just one department. If we had two departments, then if you had said maybe sales and IT department, then in would have been perfect, right? In would have been perfect. But something is missing, right? Everybody is close, right? But something is missing. Madam Ola, could you talk to me? Hello.
How about saying where the department name equals IT?
Yes, you are very right. If we add a department name column, look at your employees table, right? Look at your employees table. Is there a department name column there?
No.
No. Exactly. So we cannot use department name column.
Let me try again. Where department ID equals 60.
Equals 60, Abby?
Mr. Oshion, can I try?
Okay. Yes, madam, could you try? Madam Udwak, I noticed that.
Where employee underscore employee ID equals to employee, what are you looking for?
We are looking for IT department. Hello.
Where employee dot employee ID equals to No, I think I'm
Hey,
busy. Don't worry.
English too much. Mr. Shane, English.
John, please just help us.
All right. So let's solve it, right? I like that everybody made effort, right? Kudos to everyone who made effort. Madam Udwak, you are close actually, right? How did you know it is 60? Actually, that's my question that I want to ask you. You actually got it right. I'm not sure if it's 60, but I think it's 60. But how did you know it is 60?
I selected all from department to see.
Exactly. One zobo for you, one zobo for you, right? Exactly. Right? Look at it. I want everybody to pay attention. That is actually what I was expecting. That was what was missing, right? So they say generate employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, salary of all employees in the department, in the IT department. If you describe, that's why we say describe your table first. If you describe your employees table, right? The reason why we didn't notice it is that most of us, and we're not very familiar with the employees table yet. If you describe your employees table, right, what do you see? You will discover that there is no column on the employees table that tells us about the IT department directly, right? Because the IT department, right, is in the employees table, what you have is department ID. So we don't know if it is, we don't know what department exactly is, right? So if you go back to selecting all from employees, right? If we run that, you will see that there is no way, right, except that you now begin to link what? Link the IT job ID. Can you see? You link the job ID to what? To 60, which is what she did, right? So, but how do you know, right? How do you know? The first thing you're supposed to do is to what? Is to describe. I've told you that you should what? You're supposed to look out for the columns or the keywords in your data. In this table or in this statement, we have two tables coming together: the employees table and the departments table, right? The employees table and the departments table, right? So what it means, of course, we're going to go through the amateur way to do it, and I'll show you the professional way to do it, right? The amateur way to do it would be to say that select all from departments, right? Select all from departments, right? If we select all from departments, what happens? From here, we are able to see that IT department is what? Is department ID what? 60. Are you following me? Right? IT department is what? Is department ID what? 60. If you run your employees, select all from employees table again, you will see that there's people in department 60. If you locate them, you see that they are the people who are what? In the IT department. Hence, to solve that statement, we will say where department underscore ID equals 60. These are your IT department people. Are you following me? Right? If I'm going to solve this statement, right? If I'm going to solve this statement, right, I would say that select. I just want to show you. Don't ask me a question about it. You'll get there. Right? Let me just select. Let me copy. Right? I would say employee ID, blah, 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 comma, department underscore ID, comma, department underscore name, right? Because why? I'll show you why. From employees, join department, using, don't worry about it, you understand it very soon. Department ID, where department underscore ID equals 60. Right? Look at it now. Can you see? Look at my results now. Employee ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number, salary, department ID, and the department's name. Can you see? Now you are able to match it. Initially, when we ran it here, look at the statement here, right? It only told us about what? That these are the people, right? Even if we had added, let's add department ID to it, right? If you had added department ID to that statement, we still would not know, we'll still not be sure, right? Because what we have is just department 60. But what does this 60 mean? What does it tell us, right? That's where data modeling comes in. Now the tables are linked together. I'm able to what? To join, to return results. Hello, I'm able to, help me mute my mic, please. I'm able to return result from multiple tables at the same time, right? So I'm saying from employees joins what? Department using this and my where clause, right? You will understand all of that later, right? Just forget about the join clause, forget about all of this here. Just understand what I'm trying to say to you, that now with the join statement, I'm able to tell more about the department ID using what? With the department name, because now I'm fetching data from both the employees table and the department table. Right? So now we have more details to work with. We know that it's department 60. In the earlier one, we just know that it's department 60. 60 could have meant anything. But linking it and pointing it to the pointing that department ID to the department table tells us more about that department. So that is how to solve these questions, right? That is how to solve this question. Don't worry, we'll talk about, you understand all of that when we get to joining, right? We'll understand all of that when we get to joining, right? Please let me know, not the second part, but do you understand how we solved this question, right? Let me know if you understood how we solved that question. We should be wrapping up. I don't want to take too much of your time. We have started on a good start, right? I'll give you assignments. Expect your assignments this week, right? We've started on a good start. Yes, what do you say?
Please just keep your screen so we can see it and note it, please.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Any question? Any question? Do we understand it? Do we understand it? All right. Now, let's run one more statement, one more business case. One more business case. Generate the full details of the employee with the first name Abel. Abel. I hope it is Abel, right? Generate. Look at the business statement. Generates the full details of the employee with the first name Abel, right? So what do? We say select all from, now if you look at it, we're generating full details. So we're using all, right? Right? From what? From the employees table. No, it's from the employees table. But what are we using to restrict now? The first name. We're using what? The first name to restrict. Are you following me?
Yes.
We're using the first name to restrict. So we say from employees, where what? Where first underscore name equals, sorry, trying to let some people in. Right, where first underscore name equals Abel. Now, if your data is a character data, we do the same thing we do in SQL and in Excel. We do the same thing here. You put your character literals are put in single quote or double quotation mark. I'll say that again. Character literal are put into what? Single quotation or double quotation mark. Remember when we were inserting into tables, right? We did the same thing exactly. Can you see? We put them in single or double quotation mark, right? So we do the same thing here as well. We do the same thing here as well, right? So let's run this statement. I hope that there's a Abel in the first name. Us, right? Good. There's no Abel. So you can see that the statement is right, right? But there's no Abel in the first name. So I'm going to change this to the last name. Let's try. I think it's the last name. The last name, right? So we're going to change that to last name. So we want to know the full details about the employee with the last name, what? Abel, right? If we run that, all right. Can you see? Now we have information about the person. So here we see that the person is what? Has an employee ID of 174, right? Is the person's first name is Eileen, last name Abel, email address Abel. All right, that's the phone number. The person was hired on this date. It's a sales rep, earns 11,000, has a commission percent of 0.3, reports to a manager that is what? That is employee ID, has an employee ID of 149, and is in department 80. That is the full details. Now, basically, the question will actually be is really that the full details that we can, is that all that we can get of the person? If we say full details, right? Full details here is what's it called now? Is a relative, right? Because this is relative based on what's on the employees table. If we want to get more details about this person, we can now begin to link all the tables together to get the full information. But with respect to the employees table, this is the full details about the person. But this does not tell us who exactly the person's manager is. This does not tell us what the department the person is. Are you following me? It only tells us that this person is in department 80. We don't know what department that basically is, right? So if we want to get the full details, we have to now merge this table or join this table to another table to give us more information about the person. We'll talk about all of that next class. Please let me know if you understood. I think we should put it a stop here today. We should put it to a stop here today. Next class, right? Next class, if possible, we might have a just to cover for what we did not do last week, right? For last class, right? So we have one class pending, right? I will use that class. I'll see how to make that class working, right? I don't want to stress us. I don't want to add another extra day to it, right? But I mean to cover for that. But if like I said earlier, if we have to extend this program a little bit, maybe by maybe a week, now we'll just let's see how it goes, right? But we'll just probably extend by maybe a week, right? So that we can cover everything. I don't want anything missing in the program, right? But I hope we enjoyed class today. If you have questions, please ask me your questions now as we plan to put it to a stop today. If you enjoyed class today, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up or raise your hand if you enjoyed class today, right? If you enjoyed class today, give me a thumbs up, right? All right. If you have a question. Thank you, Muka.
Yes, sir.
Two people. Is that question? Okay.
Thank you very much for the class. I enjoyed it. The question I wanted to ask was: the join statement is used when you want to.
Don't worry about join statements yet, right? Don't worry about join statements yet. We'll talk about join statements when we get to where we need to talk about join statement. Don't worry about join statements yet.
Okay, sir.
All right. Moyo, is that?
You're breaking.
Okay.
I want to be.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So I said that if you enjoyed class today, just give me a thumbs up or give me an eye, or just raise your hand if you enjoyed class today. Right. If you have questions, please ask your questions. If you have questions, please ask your questions. Are these answers that I'm saying, are they for questions or for you enjoyed class today.
We really enjoyed it. Oh, you share.
Thank you. Thank
Today is my best class ever.
Wow, awesome.
You are doing well, sir. You are
Thank
doing
you
well,
for the
sir.
feedback.
You are a
Please,
good
can you go
man.
back to the SQL so that we can see the code?
What happened to your network, Biola? What happened?
I don't even know. I was just here before I know.
Don't worry. I'll send the code to us this night. I'll send the code to us this.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, right. Yes, sir.
Etel is just really bad.
Yeah, I think it's the rain and all. All right. So sorry. I could not attend the class very well due to network. Please, I would upload the video this night, right? Please engage the video, right? I'll download and upload this night. Please engage the video this week so that you can answer the business questions that we're going to be solving this week. This week, I'm going to be putting everything together. By next week, okay, yes, I have awesome. I just remembered, right? I'll be pointing you to a website tomorrow, right? Or during the week, where I want you to replicate the schema that is on that website, right? It's part of the assignment that we're going to do, right? We're going to, so this week, like I said, remember that our assignment is always incremental. So this week, we're going to create tables, we're going to modify tables, we're going to alter tables, we're going to insert into those tables. This week, we're going to be doing much more insert. We're going to be inserting about we're going to be creating about 3, 4, 5 tables, and you're going to be inserting about 10 observations, 10 to 20 observations or rows on each of those tables. And you would have to now begin to answer business cases on those data, right? So both on the HR data and the ones that I want to give to you, you would answer business cases on them. So the assignment this week is going to be a little bit heavy, and I'm going to make sure that I send it tomorrow, right? I'm going to send it tomorrow so that we have enough time to attend to it, right? So please watch out for the assignments this week. Watch out for the assignment this week, right? Thank you for coming. If you have any question, please ask your questions. If not, don't let me take much of the time. We'll see on Friday. But yes, one thing I noticed is that we do not engage the group during the week, right? Please engage the group during the week, right? Ask questions from your studies. If you have questions from the video, ask on the group as well so that every other person can learn from it. So please engage the group during the week, right? Engage the group during the week. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
My personal person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate, sir. You are a good man.
Have a wonderful night. Thank
Good
you.
night, sir.
Good night, man. Good night.
My regards to your family, sir.
I will. My regards to yours too.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Bye.